Forest fires each year consume hundreds of thousands of acres and costs millions of dollars worldwide. This scourge of nature and of mankind has proven to be extremely expensive, not only in terms of its destructiveness, but also in terms of what it costs to bring under control. Oftentimes, the decision to call in aerial bombardment during the early stages of firefighting is delayed because of both lengthy dispatch time and high cost. And unfortunately, oftentimes, the result is that fires which would have been easy to control in the early stages gain the upper hand against the forces arrayed to fight them. Now, those forces have a new and efficient weapon at their disposal. A weapon that is more responsive, more effective, and far more cost-efficient than any other firefighting aircraft. Its name is Sea Thrush. The Turbo Sea Thrush is an amphibian aircraft specially modified for firefighting. Those who have seen it in action call Sea Thrush the most versatile, cost-effective, and reliable firefighting aircraft available in the world today. Sea Thrush is, in fact, a marriage made in heaven between two of the most respected names in aviation. The Pratt & Whitney PT-6A powered Ayres agricultural aircraft and the rugged Whipline Model 6000 amphibious floats. The combination is as rugged, reliable, and durable as its parts. But what gives this amphibious firefighter its real muscle is a special modification by Terr Aviation Corporation. Located beneath the floats, just aft of the main landing gear, are two hydraulically operated probes. When extended, these allow the Sea Thrush to refill its water supply on the run without having to land. By lowering the probes as the aircraft skims along the surface of a lake, the pilot literally scoops up more than 500 gallons of water in only 15 seconds. Because there are far more lakes than landing strips, especially in mountainous regions of the world, this on-the-run refill capability gives the Sea Thrush a turnaround time advantage its land-based competition can't possibly match. And by taking advantage of nearby lakes, the Sea Thrush can log far more drops in less time and at greater cost savings than land-based counterparts. No need to fly miles to a landing site, which in the case of heavy iron type firefighting aircraft must be both hard surfaced and quite long, a combination that's hard to find, particularly in mountainous regions. More importantly, there's no need for time-consuming and expensive land-based support crews. No need to waste time landing, taxiing, pumping, then taking off again. No need for tanker trucks. No need for an army of ground support personnel. In effect, a lake is all that's needed to make the Sea Thrush and its pilot a self-sufficient, self-contained firefighting team. But even where no lakes are available, the Sea Thrush can still operate land-based if necessary. Its rugged float-mounted landing gear allows Sea Thrush to operate out of even unimproved bush strips. And with options up to 1,200 horsepower, the reliable PT-6A turbojet prop engine gets the Sea Thrush off quickly, even from those short, high-density altitude lakes. This ingenious, on-the-move refill design is the brainchild of pilot-inventor Paul Hajduk, who got the idea while fighting fires in Canada.
Well, the idea came about 22 years ago when I was flying the very same airplane on wheel configuration, land plane configuration, and we were fighting fires, forest fire in eastern Canada, in New Brunswick. At those days, we had landing strips spread all over the province, and used the landing strips to reload the water after each drop. Some cases we had to go maybe 15, 20, 25 miles to the nearest airstrip and land and taxi up to the pit, pump it full of water, and it's quite time consuming. Where at the same time we were fighting the fire very next to a lake, maybe a quarter mile from the lake. And I thought at this time if I could put that airplane on float, I could return back to the fire. Instead of 20 minutes, I could be back on a fire in 2-3 minutes, which is what we accomplished with this configuration.
The Air's aircraft for this proof of concept test bed is provided by Custom Farm Services of Arizona and its managing director, John Goodwin.
Well, what we have here is a machine that is developed from a very reliable aircraft engine, an agricultural airplane, and a set of floats. And of course its primary purpose is to be able to fight fires where lakes and wide rivers in the proximity. Gives us terrifically fast response time and the ability to put lots of water on the fire in a short period of time. The aircraft itself, of course, the engine is exceptionally reliable, and this means that there will be very few breakdowns and delays. The aircraft is, compared to alternatives, it's very inexpensive to operate and quite easy to fly. Yes, we can compare it to an airplane that has the capability of dumping about 2.5 times this load, but costs 10 times as much. And so you can see quite right away that the economics of this are outstanding. And of course it's a self-contained unit and needs very little ground support at all. The pilot's there on his own, can go into the lake, pick up the water, inject the foam into the system, dump the load, come back and get another load.
There's quite a saving potential there.
Oh yes, we see it as a saving potential, and for the same investment as the larger airplanes, if you have more of these units, you can of course spread yourself over a wider area and call in what you need. The economics, reliability, and even to some degree some utility. We see in fact 2 markets for this aircraft. One is a complete firefighting aircraft that does nothing but this type of work, and also the operators of regular agricultural airplanes that could install floats for part of the year and work in their areas in the off-season.
The Sea Thrush gave an impressive demonstration of its unique capabilities recently at this high desert lake in the mountains northwest of Phoenix, Arizona. The Sea Thrush proved it can make fire drops that are both precise and concentrated. The Sea Thrush has a specially designed, self-contained foam system that mixes the foam agent with the water after it's in the hopper tank. It's the foam that enhances the fire-suppressing qualities of ordinary lake water and makes Sea Thrush such an impressive performer.
I'm impressed, yes. It picks up very nicely, and there's a lot of water that goes aboard. You can tell by the way the prop adjusts and the motor works.
I guess we're used to seeing the big tankers, you know, and they cost us a lot of money, and then somebody says, well, you know, these things can, the state of Nebraska's been playing with these, you know, and maybe we ought to look at them down here in the desert. We've got a lot of people who do crop dusting, and so there's a lot of capability, and this is kind of a new and unique method of taking on water, which we hadn't seen before. So I think kind of excited to see how this thing works out in the future.
Dave, Compare this to your experience to land-based aircraft that have to land and tank up, sometimes go to airports miles away from the fire.
Well, if it's in a remote area, you know, it's time consuming. And under the flashy fuels that we have here in the lower desert, speed is of an essence, especially with all the people that are living in and amongst the cactuses and desert brush. Now, we need to get on these fires really quickly in this rural-urban interface, and this is kind of a key item, being able to come in on water, pick up water, and get right on the fire. So I think it's got good possibilities.
I guess money is becoming tighter and tighter, and if you can do the same job with a cheaper or a less costly, efficient piece of equipment, then we're all for it. You know, we're talking $2,500, $3,000 for a regular air tanker. You know, a large B-29, B-17 type application where they're you know, loading. They have to load and return at specified places in the state. Something like this really gives us the flexibility to load anywhere, and the cost effectiveness of it and the quick turnaround time, I think, is greatly a good advantage.
So from an economic standpoint, it makes a lot of sense to you?
You betcha it does, yeah, you bet.
Let's take a close look at the specifications and performance figures for Sea Thrush. They show the combination of hopper capacity, horsepower, weight carrying ability, fuel consumption, and water pickup time gives Sea Thrush a decided advantage over its main competitor. In fact, the cost per gallon of water dropped with the Sea Thrush is approximately 1/8 that of the major competition. Up to 12 Sea Thrush aircraft can be purchased for the cost of one of its main competitors. And those same 12 Sea Thrushes will deliver 5 times more water than that single competitor. Far from being a disadvantage, the Sea Thrush's size allows it to operate from smaller lakes, making water supplies more abundant, more readily available. And when the fire season is over, the Sea Thrush can be easily converted back to a land plane for agricultural purposes. When selecting your next fleet of firefighter aircraft, remember the name Sea Thrush. No other aerial firefighter in the world can match its efficiency and cost effectiveness. For more information on how you can put Sea Thrush on your firefighting team, contact Terr Aviation Corporation in Vancouver, British Columbia at area code 604-273-4511, or in the United States, Custom Farm Service in Stanfield, Arizona at area code 602-424-3322. Our fax number, 602-424-3754. Sea Thrush.